morning, guys. Happy Sunday. Welcome back to another Anchor Kids Online. Today we are going to be talking about another miracle of Jesus, but it's our last one. This will be the last Sunday we talk about Jesus' miracles. We've talked about a lot of them. Can you remember all of them? It's a long list by now. Let's go over it. Jesus turns water to wine. Jesus heals the official's son. Jesus heals a man at the pool of Bethesda. Jesus feeds the 5,000. Jesus walks on water. Jesus heals a blind man. So there are many more miracles that Jesus did in the Bible, and there are so many miracles he did that aren't recorded in the Bible, and that reminds me of our memory verse, John 20:30-31. Read it with me. Now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. So today is our last miracle, and I have a clue for you. The clue is almost exactly like the story, except the character is a frog. So God made some pretty cool creatures in nature, and this one relates a lot to our story. So see if you can kind of guess what the next miracle will be about by watching this little clue.
The ferocious cold of this icy forest has frozen these frogs solid, but this frog has a secret. In the spring, it comes back to life. It is survival against all the odds. As temperatures plummet, the frog finds a burrow. Many animals hibernate, escaping the ravages of winter to survive. But the Alaskan wood frog literally freezes, like a frog-shaped ice cube. It is an extreme adaptation, one that would kill most animals, but not this frog.
Their frozen state is a form of hibernation, so things are actually shutting down. Their digestion shuts down, their respiration rate decreases. They actually go into, it's almost like suspended animation.
Even the frog's heart stops, sometimes for months. But when spring arrives, the heart starts beating again. A miracle of nature, one science cannot yet explain.
Isn't that frog video really cool? It reminds me of what an amazing creator we have. God is so cool to make a frog that does that. And he makes all sorts of amazing, unique animals. What's your favorite animal? So this video reminds me of how Jesus came back to life. Remember at Easter when we talked about how he resurrected? He was crucified, put in a tomb, and then he resurrected. He came back to life. So in today's story, we're going to talk about a man who died, and Jesus brought him much hope of coming back to life. Pretty cool. Let's watch our little illustrated video and look at the story together.
Stories of the Bible. Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. This is Jesus,
Heyo!
who is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love. He did many miracles and healed people of their sickness. Jesus had a friend named Lazarus who was very sick. He had two sisters named Mary
That's okay.
and Martha,
Here you go.
who sent a message to Jesus telling him, "Lord, your dear friend is very sick."
So come on!
But when Jesus heard about it, he said, "Lazarus' sickness will not end in death. No, it happened for the glory of God."
What?
So although Jesus loved Martha, Mary, and Lazarus, he stayed where he was for the next 2 days.
Alright, let's go!
Finally, he said to his disciples, "Let's go back to Judea."
Are you sure?
But his disciples did not think this was a good idea because the people in Judea had tried to kill Jesus. But Jesus told them they were going anyway. He said, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but now I will go and wake him up."
He'll be okay.
The disciples thought Jesus meant Lazarus was simply sleeping. So Jesus told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead.
What?
And for your sakes, I'm glad I wasn't there. For now you will really believe. Come, let's go see him." Thomas said to his fellow disciples, "Let's go too and die with Jesus." When Jesus arrived at Bethany, he was told that Lazarus had already been in his grave for 4 days. Many people had come to be with Mary and Martha because their brother had died. When Martha got word that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him. Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus told her, "Your brother will rise again." "Yes," Martha said, "he will rise when everyone else rises at the last day." Jesus told her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in me will live even after dying. Do you believe this, Martha?" "Yes, Lord," she told him. "I have always believed you are the Messiah, the Son of God." Then she returned to Mary. She told Mary, "The teacher is here and wants to see you." So Mary immediately went to him. When the people who were at the house consoling Mary saw her leave so hastily, they assumed she was going to Lazarus's grave to weep.
Oh, let's go too.
So they followed her there. When Mary arrived and saw Jesus, she said, "Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping and saw the other people wailing with her, a deep anger welled up within him. "Where have you put him?" he asked them. They told him, "Lord, come and see." Then Jesus wept. The people who were standing nearby said, "See how much he loved him?" But some said, "This man healed a blind man. Couldn't he have kept Lazarus from dying?" Jesus was still angry and he arrived at the tomb. "Roll the stone aside," Jesus told them.
Wait, hold on, Jesus.
But Martha protested, "Lord, he has been dead for 4 days. The smell will be terrible." Jesus said, "Didn't I tell you that you would see God's glory if you believe?"
Go ahead.
So they rolled the stone aside. Then Jesus said, "Father, thank you for hearing me. You always hear me, but I said it out loud for the sake of all these people standing here, so they will believe you sent me." Then Jesus shouted, "Lazarus, come out!" And Lazarus came out, his hands, feet, and head wrapped in cloth.
Hello?
Jesus told them, "Unwrap him and let him go."
Wahoo!
Many of the Jews who were there believed in Jesus, for he had raised Lazarus from the dead.
Wasn't that story really cool? It is a great way to end our series on miracles, to talk about Lazarus and how he was raised from the dead. Jesus didn't just make something new or heal someone. He brought Lazarus all the way back to life from when he was dead. How amazing is that? This whole story is about believing in Jesus, right? His family believed in Jesus. They chose to believe him. And by that, Jesus gave Lazarus new life. And this is the same way that Jesus died for us and promised us new life with him. And when I imagine new life with Jesus, that makes me excited. So I want to put all my hope in him because I know that someday I will have new life with Jesus and everything will be made new. Not just me and you, but the earth, right? Sometimes I get really sad when I think about what's going on in the world. When I think about a forest that's been cut down and it's all dead and chopped up and there's no more animals living in it, I get a little bit sad. And when I think about all of the sickness going on in the world, that makes me sad. But God promises us that someday He is going to wipe all of the sickness away and all of those problems away and restore and make everything new. He's going to restore everything and make it so beautiful. And when we talk about hope, we have a special Bible verse. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Let's see if you remember it. It's all about hope and it has an anchor in it. Let me read it to you. Hebrews 6:19, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. So I hope today you remember to put all of your hope in Jesus. You can believe in Him, right? Lazarus' family believed in Him, and Jesus did this amazing miracle. Jesus did all of these miracles to show God's power and to help people see and believe in Him, right? So I hope learning about Jesus' miracles has been fun for you. Today, the story of Lazarus has reminded me a lot of a butterfly, right? Lazarus kind of hobbles out of the tomb all wrapped up. That's how they had to prepare bodies before they put them in a tomb back then. So he's wrapped up real tight. And that reminds me of a cocoon, right? The butterfly is still alive in the cocoon, but it still reminds me of a butterfly. So when the butterfly is ready, it comes back to life. It breaks out of the cocoon and it's made new. It's made new and it's beautiful and it's free and happy. And that reminds me of how we will be made new and we will be free and happy forever with Jesus. That's our hope. So today, I want you guys to go outside and explore in nature and find really pretty leaves or flowers. It could even be dried up stuff like twigs or maybe a dried up blossom. You can find so many different things to make a butterfly out of nature itself. So you can get a piece of paper and some glue and line up all your leaves and flowers to show a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. So I hope you guys have fun doing that. I'm going to show you a picture to inspire you. And then I'm going to have my kids make a nature butterfly and I'll show you that. So I hope you guys really loved talking about our miracles today. We're going to have a whole new series starting next week, but today is our last miracle lesson. So, all right, I hope you guys have an awesome week. And thanks for joining us at Anchor Kids. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye. Here are some of the items we collected. And I went ahead and made my own butterfly.